It's that time again, Double XL Men. We are diving back into X-Men, the animated series, where tonight,
X-Men the
Jason,
anal series. Is that did you say
well,
the anal
we're
series?
entering Magneto.
Oh my god, you went there. Oh.
Really? All right. All right.
This
Here
is the
we are.
quality you're getting today, folks. Strap in.
That's it. It's the high level we provide here.
This is the expression of everybody watching our podcast right now. What is this, Charles?
It is a rather important episode, though, in the animated series, all seriousness, because it is the introduction of probably one of the greatest characters in the Marvel universe. And literally in the show, it becomes Magneto. If you didn't know him before, by the end of this animated series, you know every bit of him. So, yeah.
I'm just looking at Magneto in this episode versus the Magneto at the end of this series. And I'm not talking 97. I'm talking at the end of this current series.
Mm,
And I'm just thinking night and day because he is just a pontificating buffoon in this episode.
mm.
Because you can tell they had no idea who this character was. I'm going to let everybody know the cat out of the bag right now. I hated this episode. I absolutely hated it. It was awful.
Ooh,
It was an
wow.
attention deficit mess that sounded and felt like I was watching an episode of a bad daytime soap opera. There are
Mm,
two scenes in this episode that I really enjoyed. The rest of it, awful.
mm. I will admit it does give the first season vibe. Like,
Yes.
and you find that a lot on shows is the first season when they don't really know who they are yet. And this is a sophomore slump, really, isn't it? This is their second attempt at a story behind the first, because the first two episodes is the Night of the Sentinels. This is their second story in it. Yeah, it's like the idea is there. You need to introduce Magneto, right? He's an important character, and it does. Yeah, he does deserve one full episode for his origin as such, but we don't really get an origin in a way. We get an introduction, but no real origin, you know. In
Yeah, it's just
fact, the scene that he arrives is kind of out of the blue and nothing leading up to it and felt awkward from the get-go, didn't it?
it really did. That was actually the first scene, not Magneto's entrance, but
Hmm.
whenever he's trying to get Beast to go with him, like, come with me, we'll get you out of here. And Beast says, no, I'm making a statement with my trial.
Hmm.
And I'm just thinking that is such a Beast thing to do. I really liked the Grant Morrison's run on New X-Men whenever
Mm-hmm.
Beast is basically having a romance with her. I think she was a reporter or a scientist or something, but the press gets wind of it and she starts getting like negative flack because, Beast is Beast and everybody's like saying, oh, she's into bestiality and everything. So she breaks up with him. And later on, she apologizes to Beast and he says, oh, we did have some good times together. We were doing this, and this, but I think our time is over. Besides, I think I may be gay. And then he goes back to fighting. And he said that just because he wanted to get in like a barb at her, and he wasn't really. But
Oh.
then she leaks it to the press, and comes out that Beast has come out of the closet, and so he decides to run with it and say, "Yes, I think it's very important that as a mutant that we show that yes, gay mutants exist, and that I am somebody that children can look up to." Which, of course, you're just like, yeah, but you're lying to them too if you're not really gay. But
Yeah.
I did like the idea, and
Yeah.
I think they executed it better in this episode with the Beast saying, I have to stand trial. I can't just escape. I have to stand trial to show people that we respect the law. It says the guy who literally just broke into a government lab.
Yeah. It does, it's a reminder the show's heavily political. And they tackle it in such a great way and such a organic way that it doesn't feel like it's being rammed down your throat. Yeah, got to take accountability. And the fact it's political is this was strategized by him and Professor X. Like they have sat down there and they have laid out possibilities and have plans for what could happen. Because that team's smart enough to realize that certain moves by certain senators or army people and things, like the ripple effect of that is massive. It's very smart. So, what did you hate about this episode? That's what I'm trying to struggle with. What was it about particularly that
It just
bothered
seemed
you
like
most about it? Yeah.
it just seemed to me like it was a series of events that just happened. You know, we've got the trial of Beast, and then all of a sudden Sabretooth shows up. And then yeah, why are you even here?
Yeah, like what? And Sabretooth, I don't buy in the fact that he was quiet in the courtroom for about an
No.
hour or two, waiting for his opportunity. Like,
Because you
yeah,
know somebody sitting next to him would be like, you know,
yeah.
hey,
Hey, what's with this guy?
this guy, I don't think he's on the level. That and it just seems like a bunch of almost unrelated scenes that were just smushed together. And
Yeah,
I did not like the way that they wrote Magneto here. And yes, I know this is his first appearance and that it deserves a little bit of grace, but this was real bad Saturday morning dialogue from him. And I don't know. It just to me it was just such a dramatic step down from Night of the Sentinels for me. It just did not work. There was another scene that I really enjoyed, but even that
Mhm.
scene I don't think that they capitalized on, and we were talking about it before we started recording, and that's
Yeah,
the
go
scene
ahead.
where Wolverine is trying to take Sabretooth out of the X Mansion. And they're just
Yeah.
like, Wolverine, don't you take him out of here. I have to, bub. You don't
Oh,
understand. You don't know him. And I was getting the impression that Wolverine was trying to take him out of the X Mansion because he knew personally how dangerous he was, and he was
exactly.
trying to protect everyone. They
Yeah.
never revisited that, though. They never
No.
came back and said, oh, that's why he did it. It was all implied. But quite honestly, it kind of just makes Wolverine out to be a jerk. Like, I'm going to take my toy and I'm going to leave. There's nothing you can do about it. Professor X doesn't come off much better. You know, Wolverine, if you walk out of here with that man, you're never going to be welcome back. Okay, yeah, thanks,
That bothered
Dad.
that line.
Yeah,
Yeah,
piece of
yeah, yeah.
crap.
Yeah, don't bother coming back was
Yeah,
a
I'm
bad
sorry that
line.
you and your boyfriend are having a tiff,
Mhm.
Charles, but come on.
Now, I'll
Enter
assume
Magneto.
that this happens
Hmm.
well after the events of episode 1 and 2, because surely you would be grieving for your close friend who was murdered very recently.
Who?
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 Right, yeah.
Hmm,
What are you talking about? Never happened.
Who the heck is no?
Yeah.
No, that's another romantic companion that's gone. Is that Wolverine has lost his romantic companion? Because you can't tell me that after X-Men '97, Wolverine and Morph didn't hook up at least once.
Yeah.
You
Maybe.
know what form I want you to take, Morph. Oh, okay, again, fine.
um, yeah, like you're right. I mean,
Jean Grey
but
being a
it's
telepath, you know she knows. It's like
yeah.
just staring across the table one day, like, I know what you did last night. I know you know.
Yeah, if
It's
first
part of the
impressions
fun.
matter, Magneto's first impressions suck, and whether that was intentional or not by the writers doesn't really matter. But it does suck. But in long term, it works because now we're at the bottom of the barrel character wise. We actually get to see that character actually treated with some respect
Well,
later in the
it's
series.
not like they could have gone
Any-
worse. It's
That's true. That's true. But yeah, no, I'm not a huge fan of this. This is definitely a season 1. We don't know what quite we're doing, kind of thing. And honestly, my memory of season 1 is a lot of this. That season 1 feel, because it is season 1. But yeah, so I'm not a huge fan of this first series. I think the second and third is where I start to really fall in love with this thing. Was my memory anyway. But who knows? I'm old. And I could have stolen that memory from someone else. Could have.
well, it has been years since I've seen this series, so this is my first time seeing it in decades. And yeah, I was
Mm.
just kind of watching it, just thinking, wow, this is a mess. This is an absolute mess, which is so strange considering the banger that was last week. I got another positive, come to think of it. I really
Mm.
liked how they smoothed out Jubilee's flaws whenever whenever she's talking to the professor and
Yeah.
she kind of reassures him and says, you can't help everybody all the time, and kind of gives him a kiss on the cheek and walks off. I'm like, oh, that was a
Yeah.
sweet little scene.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like that in this series, Charles isn't just this cold, emotionless
No.
person. He can be
Yeah.
comforted.
I like the moment where I like the fact the Storm gives it her all and then collapses. She just gives it her all. I like that.
That happens a lot on this show with the women. They're just like,
yeah, they collapse. But I like the idea of it, but the way they executed it, and the fact that Wolverine and Cyclops have this complete and utter change, and like, normally they're not so friendly, but at the end of that scene, doesn't he go, "We've got her, my friend. Let's take her back to the mansion." Like, acting like buddies. And yeah,
check her pockets because it's a toll road on the way back. It's the fastest way. I think that she's got a 5. Go ahead, get it. She won't mind. She won't mind. If she shocks you, it was involuntary.
Yeah, but there you go. So honestly, what more can be said about an episode that clearly you're not a big fan of? They introduced a character. We needed the introduction, so it's happened. It may not be what you wanted, but it happened.
We needed the introduction, but did it have to be like this? Just
look, I see the intro. I got to stand by the film uses of the characters. I prefer the way the movie set up the relationship between Magneto and Professor X. Honestly, I always think that's been the strongest version I've known, and especially Magneto. What they did cinematically to flesh out his background, his childhood, actually just informs you everything you need to know about that character. It helps him become sympathetic in times of pure evil. How they, set Magneto up as a, survivor of the Holocaust.
Yeah, the fact that they were not allowed to even mention World War II or the Holocaust in this show really didn't do the character any favors. They certainly gingerly went around it a few times, but that's the sanitized origin story.
And
is pretty bad.
We got the origin story of their relationship is basically he hired Magneto because he was an assistant.
Yeah, and then he showed me his and I showed him mine one day.
Yeah.
We were inseparable ever since, Scott. Do you have any idea what it's like to have a friend like that, Scott, that exposes themselves to you in a moment of vulnerability? Do you, Scott? Do you? That's why we must help Magneto, Scott. Get a room, you two. We're trying, Scott. We're trying.
You show me mine and I'll show you yours scene. It's kind of laughable as well.
It's so like, bad.
It was bad. It was bad now I think of it. The whole Magneto doing his powers. Well, I've seen yours. Check this out.
Yeah.
And that's, it's kind of, look into that a bit more and you can see some, comparisons being made. But yeah, it's awfully horrible.
They were so much in love with each other. I'm sorry. They were like a divorced couple that secretly still loved each other. They're trying not to let everybody know, but at the same time, everyone knows.
For background for characters, it's pretty good. And then it explains a lot about the fact that you've just got someone who wasn't happy about how the relationship ended. Yeah. And if that's the motivation to keep them going, I buy it. There are ex-wives out there who have been divorced for 20 years and still have a deep, deep, deep hatred of their partner. So works for me as a motivating thing for a villain, for sure.
It's all going to come down to like a T-shirt. Like,
you kept my favorite T-shirt, Charles. You knew it was my favorite. That was my Rolling Stones tour T-shirt. You can't get those anymore.
I told you, Magneto, the dog peed on it. We don't have a dog. Okay, Beast peed on it. It is true. I did pee on it.
You know what else doesn't work either is the fact that when he's introduced in that scene with Beast, the fact that we have no real understanding why he's doing it at all. Like there's nothing to inform us why he's evil. And, even later on at the end of this episode, do I really understand Magneto's point of view, why he's doing what he's doing? Not really. I know it because I know of the character's history, but what they've shown me, it's very vague, isn't it? It's kind of you're getting hints here and there of his background and his motivations, but not a lot.
It's Saturday morning cartoon villainy. where they just show up and go, I'm going to blow up the world. I'm going to take over the
Yeah.
world. I'm going to kill all the humans. And that's all it is.
Well, Larry Houston, who wrote, by the looks of it, the entire season, did he write? Well, Larry Houston wrote nearly all of it, did he?
Wow. So he's to blame. Okay.
Oh, no, he's directed. One guy directed it all. Written by a heap of different people. I'm just trying to see who I can blame for this horrible writing. Just because I'm that type of guy who wants to, point fingers at people. Yes, I'm sorry, Jim Carlson and Terrence McDonald, and I'm sure you're very talented, but you dropped the ball, guys.
terrible.
Sorry.
I'm trying to help you look up, but every time I turn my phone on, there's like a video playing at full volume. I can't get it to turn down.
All right. Well, that's it. I don't have no more to say. This doesn't have to be a long episode. Just like
unlike
this episode
Magneto,
sucked.
that one had to be a long episode. I swear it was 20 minutes long and it felt like 3 hours.
I didn't hate it as much, but I did feel like my expectations for this season not high at all.
Not anymore.
Not high at all.
Not anymore. I guess I was looking through this series through rose-colored glasses, and I do know that there is some high quality coming, but I'm just wondering how long it's going to take to get there.
There is. Yeah, I think it is a little bit of a journey, but I think by next season you're starting to see things improve. Maybe even some highlights by the end of this season. We'll see. Maybe the next episode is the greatest half an hour in television ever made, and we just don't know it yet. We'll be back to revisit it, though, in a few weeks on XXL Men, which will be the episode called Deadly Reunions. Let me say that last word again. Deadly Reunion. It's deadly. Reunions. For some reason, a reunion is hard to say.
Reunion.
Yeah, reunion.
Charles, this will be our reunion, and it will be deadly.
What's also interesting is, unlike Saturday morning TVs, and this is one of the early ones where storylines continue, because the next episode still kind of continues the story along. There you go.
I do remember Beast being in prison for a very long time. So
that's my kind of memory. But yeah, we're pulling memories from 30 years ago.
The ether just
yeah.
I think this is the one where Nightcrawler, shows up and gives them a strudel.
Did you see did you see some of the photos that have come out with all the old crew from like X-Men, the movies, on the set of Avengers Doomsday? Pretty rad, right? It's pretty amazing.
I saw the one with Scott Marston and Ian McKellen. That's the only one I've seen.
I saw one with Alan Cumming and Ian McKellen, and there's Patrick Stewart there. I think they're doing a table read or something.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to seeing seeing Nightcrawler again. I loved Alan Cummings. Alan Cummings' version of Nightcrawler was so good.
That opening scene of X2 in the White House, phenomenal.
It was.
It was a great opening to a movie.
Yes.
But yeah, there you go. Well, we'll be interested to see that. But until then, we'll see you next time in the XXL Men. And Jason, before we go, just quickly let the people know how they can contribute to the show and all that kind of good stuff.
Of course, Scott. Here is how you contribute to XXL Men. First of all, I am mentally commanding you to check out the video link below, where you will see a link to our Patreon. If you will use your mutant powers on that Patreon, you can deliver us $5 a month or more, which we can sustain ourselves on until we defeat Magneto and his Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Or you can become a channel member, just like I became a member of the X-Men. You have the power. The power is yours.